What's up, guys? It's Benny. Nicolás Maduro was camping out in a bunker in the most secure military facility that was guarded by Chinese and Russian technology. They had high-end stuff. They spent billions of dollars, and he had 300 security guards. Nicolás Maduro was not just standing in the middle of a Walmart parking lot. He was secure, and he was within feet of a safe room, yet he was black-bagged and chucked in the back of a helicopter like it was nothing, and no Americans lost their lives. They barely even got shot at. How the hell did that happen? Well, the American military executed the single most sophisticated and strategic special forces strike with the assistance of futuristic weapons that have never been used before on the battlefield. The U.S. used mystery secret weapons that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees, vomiting blood and bleeding out of their eyes and noses and ears. Witness account is horrifying. Let's read it, and then we'll talk about what this weapon actually is and what the consequences of this will be. This account from a Venezuelan security guard to Nicolás Maduro, absolutely chilling, as it explains a lot about what the tone across Latin America suddenly changed. Get a load of this. And this, by the way, in case you're wondering if somebody's just making this up, this is translated directly from the security guard. I'll play you the Spanish version of this translated as well. But this is just transcribed Spanish language interview of Nicolás Maduro's, one of his top security guards or surviving security guards, because the rest of them are dead. On the day of the operation, we didn't hear anything coming. We were on guard. All of a sudden, our radar systems shut down without explanation. The next thing we saw drones, lots of drones flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. So what happened? How was the main attack? Security guard. After those drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, but there were very few. I think barely 8 helicopters. From those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men. Those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we fought against before. And the battle? Yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance against 20 men. Here, listen. They were shooting with such precision and speed, it seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute. We couldn't do anything. 300 rounds per minute. They had a minigun. It was the drones. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Here we go. And your weapons, didn't they help? Security guard, no help at all, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt my head was exploding from the inside. We started bleeding from the nose, vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. Interviewer, and your comrades, did they manage to resist? Security guard, no, not at all. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons. I swear, I've never seen anything like it. We couldn't even stand up after the sonic weapon or whatever it was. So do you think that the rest of the region would think twice before confronting the Americans? Without a doubt, says the guard. I'm sending a warning to anybody who thinks that they can fight the United States. They have no idea what they're capable of. After what I saw, I have never wanted to be on the other side of that again. They are not to be messed with. Interviewer, now that Trump said Mexico is on the list, do you think the situation will change in Latin America? Security guard, definitely. Everyone is already talking about this. No one wants to go through what we went through. Now everyone thinks twice. What happened here is going to change a lot of things, not just Venezuela, but throughout the region. Now, in case you're wondering, again, if this is simply like a tome that was made up or written by some nobody, here's the press secretary of the White House sharing it. Stop what you're doing and read this. In fact, if you go through and you actually check the replies and the engagements on this post, you'll find some very, very powerful people. The United States has capabilities that most of the world does not understand, has never seen deployed in public view. This account reads exaggerated only if you're anchored in conventional warfare assumptions. You're operating in the domain of black ops, next-gen asymmetric warfare, bleeding-edge tactical tech. It is within bounds, uncomfortable, structurally coherent. Radar blackout and drone swarm, not only plausible, standard modern U.S. special ops. Electronic warfare, airborne jammers, cyber payloads can blind radar networks instantly. Drone swarms deployed to silence overwhelming speed, not just to surveil, but disorient and confuse the target. The phase was designed to rupture coherence before the first contact, a small team with overwhelming effect. Tier 1 operators Delta Force, precision fire rates, real-time comms, helmet AR overlays, drone coordinated entity can produce exact kind of one-sided slaughter described. 20 men versus 200. This is not implausible if the 200 are disoriented, poorly trained, and unsupported. This is not a battle. This was a live fire demonstration. Sonic weapon. This is the most extreme claim, but not unbelievable. They're real directed energy weapons. The U.S. arsenal can be target, neutral disruption, auditory collapse, inner ear destabilization. Most known examples are prototype or crowd control grade, but the deployment of battlefield class systems would explain the symptoms described: screaming, bleeding, vomiting, collapse. If true, this would be threshold crossing showcase of an invisible weapon that induces pure helplessness without a shot fired. No casualty. This is the signature of elite asymmetric warfare. The most elite U.S. operators are designed to be zero risk, zero trace. Real-time air superiority, medical extraction, closed loop, ISR make it viable. Even if one of the U.S. operators had died, the whole narrative arc collapses. So it didn't. And this tells you something. Did it happen exactly as described? Possibly directionally true. This is what we have been talking about on this channel. Directed energy weapons. These things are real. They're real. And they produce exactly what this individual is talking about. This is a directed energy weapon, damages its target with highly focused energy without a solid projectile, lasers, microwave particle beams. And this is military application. The U.S. Army is obviously deployed these kind of things. You can find them in different countries, but these weapons are severe and can damage your electronics, damage your drones, and make it hard to figure out even where you're getting fired upon. And obviously, when it blows up your inner ear, you can't even function as a human being anymore. You just fall to the ground. So they come in a lot of different forms, and perhaps this is some form that we've never even seen before. But this stuff is real. Anyway, imagery from Venezuela shows surgical strike, not shock and awe. This former Nicolás Maduro security guard says it was a directed energy weapon. It is the most terrifying, massive firepower, potentially from the drones as well. Possibly not even from the Delta operators, but also from the drones. And if you're firing 300 rounds a minute, what is that? Being told this is all fairly accurate, says some of the special forces. Dan Bongino must read. This is why you don't F with the world's most powerful military. Yeah. It's like the Matrix. That's right. Cyber attacks, power grid, radars stop working, drones blot out of the sky, Chinooks pull up, U.S. soldiers have AMI bots, Maduro's security blasted with Fetty Wap bleeding from the nose. It's all over in 3 minutes. How the U.S. is moving in Venezuela. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Holy shit. That's right. Important that our enemies understand the courtesy of the red, white, and blue wasn't hyperbolic, not anymore, at least. This is an incredible account of the kidnapping. Our advanced military tech sounds supernatural. One very important dynamic largely goes overlooked is the directed energy weapon under old leadership was locked into relationships with legacy contractors that were behind in their tech. I've heard a version of this story a few times of people coming to the defense of Silicon Valley. Generals and decision makers didn't trust these new firms to start making state-of-the-art weapons, but now they do. The new boss is not the same as the old boss. And now these new innovative defense tech CEOs are finally getting a seat at the table. Video game story of Venezuela is what it looks like. Yeah, a lot of love for this. Goodness gracious. I wouldn't dismiss this. People are saying, yeah, we're going to do things to you that have never been done before. That's exactly right. Ooh, a dangerous time. Dangerous man. Donald Trump. Venezuela security guard inside Hugo Chavez's mausoleum. All right. Enough. It's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, a terrifying reality that we are just the biggest, baddest MFers on the block. This is the Spanish translation. Here's the account in case you want to listen to it in its original Spanish. This is a real interview. At the very least, And a lot of experts are jumping in and saying, this is going to happen. This is going to happen to our enemies. Symptoms of an acoustic weapon: bleeding pattern. Bleeding from the ears means ruptured eardrums. Acoustic overpressure. Bleeding from the nose means sinus hemorrhaging from resonance effects of the skull's air cavities. The head feels like it's going to explode sensation. Fits with the thermoelastic expansion inside of the skull. Yeah. They're saying this is like something that's 20 years ahead of its time to be able to do this. The United States has capabilities most of the world does not understand, as not seen deployed in public. That's right. Very cool. Maduro's bodyguard basically explained what the Aztecs experienced when Cortez rocked up with horses, muskets, cannon, plate steel, and swords. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Makes you proud to be an American. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya. Badass.